New manager bounce. Chelsea are surely back. Let's see how we did this weekend. Son of a fuck! Anyway, that's enough of that. Hello guys, how you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly and welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. Hope you guys have had a good weekend and hope you are enjoying this weird change of camera angle. Don't know, just took a notion today and was like, fuck it. We're going to see the Liverpool scarf in the background, which people have acknowledged me before, and let's address it. We have a couple of Liverpool scarves up in our background here. 3 of them to be exact. And the reason they're there is because they look nice. And Danny actually had a fairly large intake into what was going to be in the background of these videos when we were kind of creating this kind of backdrop for the studio. And I was like, we actually have 4 Liverpool scarves. There's no one up there, but I am far from a Liverpool fan. Just basically everyone else in my house is. Welcome back everybody to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. Hope you guys are keeping well. If you want to enjoy the video, make sure you slap a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to try and hit 1.1k as soon as possible. And welcome back to the Premier League Verdict, where we have our graphic up in front of us as usual with our green, yellow and red box. And we're going to get straight into things this week by giving Erling Haaland a bit of the spotlight that I feel like he hasn't really had in this series of late. He's managed to score his 29th and 30th Premier League goal of his debut season in the Premier League in Manchester City's 4-1 defeat of Southampton at St Mary's on Saturday. The second of which was a bicycle kick, just grow up like. The man is just incredible, and look, he didn't actually feature against Liverpool last week, and people were thinking to themselves, oh look, is Erling Haaland not falling out of favour, but are Manchester City necessarily better off with him or without him, because they were quite electrifying against Liverpool during or last week rather, and it did raise those questions, and the questions are certainly valid ones. Obviously he was injured last week and missed the demolition of Liverpool, I guess, but no, he came back in, was straight back into the team and was looking absolutely brilliant. I think Manchester City certainly play maybe their more fluent style of football without him. I think Alvarez is probably better at linking the play than Haaland is, but what you get in Haaland is guaranteed goals. If you set up chances for him, he's going to finish them majority of the time, and he's an absolute phenomenon. But Manchester City as a whole are coming good at a very, very good point in the season. They usually go on like a really good run between like January and March, but really starting to hit form and starting to look like the Manchester City of old in the last couple of weeks. And what a time of the season in which to do that, in which we're in the run-in now. Every single point is crucial, especially when Arsenal slip up, which we will get into in our yellow box. But he's just a robot. He's just a robot, and I don't think he's going to be one of those players that defenders learn to adapt and how to defend against him, because he's actually quite unpredictable at times as well. But even if you know what he's going to do, it's very, very difficult to stop him. He is just simply that good. He is that good. Manchester City are that good at the minute, and they are closing in on leaders Arsenal, which brings us in nicely to our yellow box. What a game between Liverpool and Arsenal at Anfield. Probably game of the season, definitely one of the games of the season, obviously for the action that was on show, but my god, the tempo that this game was played at was absolutely unbelievable. 2 incredible sides. I mean, Liverpool have been poor in recent times and have had a poor season as a whole. Particularly that last 10 minutes of the first half and that whole second half, Liverpool were relentless, and it was absolutely breathtaking stuff at times. Arsenal raced into that 2-goal lead thanks to goals from Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Not great defending by Liverpool for either goal, particularly from Virgil van Dijk, who's taken a lot of the slack today from a Liverpool perspective. But Mo Salah did pull one back just before the break, and that was, I guess, the catalyst for a brilliant Liverpool comeback in that second half. And it was Roberto Firmino who equalised in the dying embers of the game. And Liverpool obviously losing Roberto Firmino now in the summer, and obviously leaving off his own accord, which is probably the way he would have always wanted to do it. But wherever Roberto Firmino decides to go in the off-season, someone is getting an incredible player there. I mean, what an incredible servant he has been for Liverpool Football Club. Obviously one of the members of, I guess, the Three Amigos, as people call them, one of the greatest front threes we've ever seen in Premier League football himself. Sadio Mane obviously left last summer. Salah's future is kind of up in the air a little bit even still, but it looks like he's going to be the sole survivor with Firmino leaving in the summer. But even when he's been called upon this season, although his minutes haven't been as plentiful as previous seasons, he's always come in, he's given his best, and he's provided some really, really important goals and moments for Liverpool this season, and this is arguably the most important of the lot. It's arguably a goal that keeps Liverpool Liverpool's top 4 hopes alive, certainly their European hopes alive, and keeps the title race alive, to be honest, which I think from a neutral perspective, and certainly I am neutral in this fight, it's nice to see that it might look like being a title race that goes down to the wire. I think there's 6 points in it now, but Manchester City have a game in hand on Arsenal, and the two of them have to play each other again at the Etihad as well, so that is going to be an incredible game at the end of this month as well. Really, really looking forward to that. But what a game of football this was. But you know what? None of what happened in the actual game on the pitch during the minutes, none of the football or the goals or the moments that we've seen in a positive sense are what make it into the yellow box this week. And we're actually going to put, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name, the linesman in the Liverpool game. So Konstantin Hadzidakis. Let me know how I did with that pronunciation in the comment section down below. But a moment of absolute madness right on the halftime whistle. Halftime whistle goes. Both teams are on their way in. Andy Robertson has given it plenty to the linesman. For whatever reason, I mean, some Arsenal players were doing a bit of pricking, just kind of wasting time. The likes of Gabriel goes down because the ball hit him a bit too hard in the face. But Robertson was giving it plenty to the linesman. And the linesman appears... he does elbow Andy Robertson in the chin. Now, this linesman looks like he's going to be banned for the foreseeable up until this kind of investigation from the FA is officially over and done with. But my goodness me, I don't think I've ever seen a moment like this where a referee has lashed out. I think it happened a lot more kind of back in the day. It was probably a little bit more acceptable back then for an official to do that, but in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen, now I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a moment like this. And there's a couple of different ways to look at it. Look, Andy Robertson is one of those players, he's a bit of a shithouse, he likes talking shit to the officials, and that's just the kind of player he is. Now, a lot of people are coming up with the argument this was always coming, that, you know, players shouldn't surround referees and officials like this. And you know what? To a degree, I agree with that. They absolutely shouldn't. It should be certainly looked at by the FA, should be banned realistically. And often we do see that kind of retrospective action given for failure to control players, but that should be a thing that should happen in the moment. However, right, this action from this linesman should never happen. You gotta be able to, you're in that industry, right? I've refed games, believe it or not. I have refed games at under 9 and under fucking 10 level, alright? And you do get a bit of abuse at those games. I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some fucking fairly angry fathers on the sideline, but you have to be able to just drown it out. And I know I'm not comparing me reffing fucking under 9s in Tanner's Field to a full fucking stadium of Anfield that is absolutely booing you and all against you. But there has to be a certain degree of control if you're looking to get into that industry, and this linesman just completely went out the window with it, to be fair. And it's cost him until, I mean, they're saying the next 8 or 9 games, which is basically until the end of the season, but it might well cost him his job, because you can't go around literally elbowing players like that. Now, we still don't know what Robertson said. He could have said something absolutely horrific. It could have been horrendously offensive to him, but yeah, a crazy, crazy moment, and Konstantin gets himself into the yellow box for this week. It's very rare we see a referee, and even more so a linesman, getting a box here on the verdict. But you know, we're full of surprises here on this channel. Do you know what isn't a surprise? The fact that Chelsea lost again. Right, we're in the fucking red box territory at this point, and Chelsea are in there again. Frank Lampard's first game back as interim manager of Chelsea Football Club, and how foolish am I, right, that I expected to see some sort of manager bounce. At least when Potter came in, we seen a bounce of maybe 2 or 3 games at the start, particularly in the Champions League when Tuchel was sacked. No manager bounce this time. No manager bounce at all. Chelsea lost 1-0 to Wolves at Molineux at the weekend thanks to a brilliant goal. You have to say, one of the goals of the season from Mateus Nunes. And to be fair, they get the goal, and Chelsea never really looked like scoring after that. Aubameyang comes on. Aubameyang was freed from Graham Potter's basements, come out and play for Chelsea up front at the weekend, coming off the bench, and he had half an attempt on goal, if you want to call it that. But like, after the goal, Wolves probably had the better chance after that. Like, I mean, it was a nothing game, like, let's be honest, and Wolves and Lopetegui managed to control the game really, really well. But like, the best chance after the goal that I can think of, and the goal certainly wasn't a really good chance by any means, but the best chance I can think of after that was Diego Costa's shot that was saved by Kepa from like a tight enough angle. Like, how can you go to Wolves, right? And no disrespect, like one of the worst teams in the league, really. I know they're only like 6 points off us now or something really scary like that, but one of the lowest scoring teams in the league as well, and not put up any sort of fight at all. Now look, Frank Lampard has to take a little bit of slack from this game as well, and I'm not going to, shy away from any Frank Lampard criticism just because it's Frank Lampard. You guys who would have watched the channel back in 2021 or whenever Frank Lampard was manager, you'll know, as much as I love Frank, I'm not afraid to criticise him at the same time. Switching the formation up completely, going to a 4-3-3, it didn't work, and also sticking with Cucurella didn't work, sticking with Koulibaly. Why? Like, Badiashile is on the bench still. Trevor Chalobah came off the bench. Wesley Fofana looks like he's injured again. And oh man, it's just a mess. Also, Denis Zakaria is back. And he's just not getting a look in. Like, he played Enzo Fernandez in like a pivot and hoping for a bit of creativity from Kovacic and fucking Gallagher. That never came. Joao Felix, he's a silky, lovely footballer, but my God is he wasteful in the final third. Kai Havertz, right? I noticed this the weekend, right? Kai Havertz makes a run without ever intentionally looking to get on the end of that run with the ball at his feet. He makes the run when it's too late for the ball to come into him, to appear like he's working hard. And we see through it. Like, just so full of nothingness from the players. No desire, no like... It's a team of individuals, let's be honest. It's a team of individuals. They don't know the fucking meaning of the word team. Let's be honest. And it worries me so much that we have to play Real Madrid on Wednesday. We are going to get spanked around like there's no tomorrow. By the end of this two-legged fixture against Real Madrid, I genuinely believe it could be double figures for Chelsea. Genuinely. And call me dramatic if you want, but that is just the way I see it going. Now, obviously, Frank made some like Mason Mount is injured. I would love to see Mason Mount break back into this Chelsea team. And N'Golo Kante is only coming back from injury, and Frank decided to take the step to rest N'Golo Kante ahead of Real Madrid. Because let's be honest, if we're to have any chance of not getting absolutely spanked against Real Madrid, N'Golo Kante has to be in the starting 11. And you don't want to risk a very injury-prone player a couple of days before, playing Real Madrid. But looking at that Chelsea squad and looking at those Chelsea players, not one of them looked like they even wanted to be there or even look like they have any interest in making the starting 11 for Wednesday against Real Madrid. They're just finished, man. And I would love to see just a mass exodus in the summer from this squad. Honest to God. And that's what we're being told is going to happen, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just praying that we manage to keep the scoreline below like 5 on Wednesday. Honest to God, that is how poor it has gotten. And now, you look at Chelsea's fixtures between now and the end of the season. Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest, Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United. Those are our 8 games in the Premier League. How many points do you see us getting? You might beat Bournemouth. You might beat Forest. Maybe for them too. The rest of them, you're playing teams that are above us. All in the top 10. We're finished, man. We're finished. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. Pray for us on Wednesday. See you next time.
I'm in the big leagues. Tony don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston. Ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog. Like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all.